Let's get it going, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, we had the perfect comment coming out from Jeep Guy. Says, there's certain things in this world: death, taxes, and a flock draft. You better believe we are going ahead and getting in a draft here. Real quick, before we do, I do want to point out that Underdog just released some of these rival pick'ems, which will be a lot of fun to look at. I literally have looked at these for about 10 seconds. Some notable ones, I'd bet Dobbins has more rushing touchdowns than James Conner this season. I mean, if you're looking at rushing touchdowns, Breece Hall versus Isaiah Pacheco, I'm probably going to go Breece Hall, even if they're giving Isaiah Pacheco plus half a rushing touchdown on his end. But just some interesting lines if y'all wanted to go ahead and check those out. Those are on Underdog. But instead, let's go ahead and let's get in an Underdog draft. This is going to be Best Ball Mania. Everybody here should already been in a Best Ball Mania draft. I'm pretty sure everybody here already knows what we're doing. Just in case you're watching this as a video later on, $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool, $3 million for first place, $1 million for second, $300,000 for third, $150,000 for fourth, all the way down the line, plus some pretty big regular season prizes as well. I think there are a couple $1 million regular season winners. So let's get in here and let's get this started, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we have a good spot to pick from. And Jeep Guy coming out here says 101 hype. Love to see it. Love to see it. But okay, we get the 107. Now, 107, I will say we had a difficult time drafting here a day ago. Was it a day ago or 2 days ago? 2 days ago, we had two drafts. One from pick 7, one from pick 6. And both of them were embarrassingly bad. Like, some of the worst drafts that you will ever see in your entire life were from yours truly on this YouTube channel at pick 6 and 7. So hopefully we do not repeat those same mistakes. Knowing ourselves, we probably will. Now, Jamie in here at pick 2. We have Luke in here at 9. CPW in here at the 101 with us. Good luck, my friend. Good luck. And happy to see all y'all hanging out. We got some regulars. We have Brett out here, Gucci Broomstick, and Lunar. Happy to see y'all out here. But let's go ahead and get this going. Cooper says, slam that like button for another one, boys. Yes, smash that like button if you want another draft after this. And of course, just in case you aren't on Underdog somehow, this is Underdog Fantasy. Best ball, so no time commitment at all during the season. This is the same place where we were showing those player props earlier on. On Underdog Fantasy, you can sign up with promo code FLOCK, and they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Plus, with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get our 2023 fantasy football rankings, get a free trial to flockfantasy.com, available in damn near every state. Let me show this map real quick. Here you go. Yeah, right there. If your state's in yellow, you got Underdog, and we have Christian McCaffrey at pick 7. CMC is someone that I really have never taken this year. I only take him if he falls to pick 6, pick 7. In general, I'm not taking Garrett Wilson over him, and you see Garrett Wilson slide ahead of him here. Usually, I'm going to go ahead and target what we have with Stephon Diggs in the middle of round 1, specifically in these Underdog drafts. But yeah, I mean, getting Christian McCaffrey here at 7, I feel like it's going to be something that we have to do, right? I mean, there are going to be very few teams that are able to grab CMC here. Now, Henry says, you're the only one with the badge. Yes, we're the only badge drafter in this draft, so it's going to be even worse when we get crushed. Nick says, how many likes for a hot tub stream? How about this? If someone wants to buy me a hot tub, I will do a hot tub live stream. If y'all want to buy me a hot tub, if y'all really want to see me drafting in a hot tub that badly, but I'd imagine that they're, how much are they? I don't know. But my backyard could use a hot tub, would be really, really nice. So we're not even going to have a like goal for a hot tub live stream. Instead, it's going to be, are there any wealthy members of the flock out there with a couple $1,000s burning a hole in their pocket that want to go ahead and get us a hot tub so we can start drafting in luxury, even though it's already 105 degrees here in Texas. So Robert says, when are you getting a treadmill desk? I decided to start running again. Like I ran half a marathon today. So I may not go for the treadmill desk just because I started running last week. And if I'm going to run before I work out now, do I really need a treadmill desk whenever I go ahead and sit here? I mean, let me see how many steps have I had today? 28,000 steps and 17 miles. So I don't know if the treadmill desk is still something we need. But we are going to try to make a unique team here, right? So there'll be a lot of CMC starts that have Devonta Smith in the second round. There will be fewer starts that have CMC Nick Chubb. So I'm drafting in general Saquon Barkley over Nick Chubb, given the involvement we've seen with Saquon Barkley as a pass catcher in comparison to Nick Chubb. But specifically in Best Ball Mania, where this is the tournament that has 677,000 entrants, it's a $25 buy-in, $3 million for first place. I mean, we need to go ahead and need to try to have a unique start out the gate, right? And the amount of teams that are going to have CMC Nick Chubb out the gate will be pretty slim. Pretty slim here. Now, CBW says, I'm 135 drafts in, going for that badge, gang. I mean, yeah, well, I hope you're having fun, my friend. Getting a badge is honestly a lot harder than you would think. At least a lot harder than I would think. I mean, I feel like most apps, like not necessarily like sports apps like this, but just games, they make things like easy for you to go and accomplish and get like those little marks. But like on Underdog, to get a black and white badge, you have to do 500 drafts, and to get a red and white, you have to do 1,000. Crazy, crazy. Quinn said, we made it, baby. Unloading trucks at UPS and watching some best ball drafts. Let's go. Hell yes, my man. Thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us. Sumo Bro says, no. The double running back. Have you not learned your lesson? Yeah, you know this is something I never do, right? At least not on Underdog. But specifically, if CMC makes it a 7, can I pass on CMC here? Probably not. Probably not. Now, let's swing this back around. Now, Mgu has Barkley and Cooper Kupp. Jalen Hurts goes, so this is why, in general, we're going wide receiver in round 1. We will just take Deebo Samuel here. We have no other option. I mean, yes, in a vacuum, trust me, you don't have to sit here and tell me. I would way rather have Josh Jacobs over Deebo Samuel. Way rather have Josh Jacobs. But just in general, if we take Jacobs here, we are going to put ourselves in such a bad position later on in this draft as these wide receivers fly off the board. So kind of have to go ahead and take a wide receiver here. Lunar says Deebo over Ridley. I would never. Yes, I know most people are going Ridley over Deebo. To be honest with you, I'm not a big Ridley guy here. Like, let's go ahead and let's look at those pick'em lines that you have on Ridley. Let me see if they actually have a Ridley comparison here. Yeah, so they have Ridley versus Hawkinson at, I mean, about the same touchdown mark. Hawkinson's getting an extra touchdown. But if you're just looking at the regular pick'em lines on Underdog and comparing like Ridley to some of the other wide receivers in this range, Ridley's at like 855 receiving yards. I don't think they have a Deebo Samuel line. No, they do have Deebo Samuel. They have Deebo Samuel at about the same receiving yardage mark. Plus, you're getting the usage from Deebo Samuel as a rusher as well. I don't know. It's just difficult for me to go through and take Calvin Ridley where he goes. I would love to, but it's hard. Okay. And Gallus knows the real reason why we take Deebo Samuel here. We have CMC. We have Deebo Samuel. And you better believe, round 17, we'll be getting something a little special. We'll be spicing up the draft a bit. Let's go ahead. Let's move this over. Valak on the clock. So far, they've gone Josh Jacobs, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Olave. Cody says 106, CMC, Olave, Jacobs. Wide receiver will be a problem later. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, from the 106, you have to go ahead and you have to take Jacobs there. But I just couldn't take him in my spot, considering the fact that we took Chubb instead of Olave, right? Maybe if we would have had Olave in round 2, it would have been a little bit of a different situation, but I don't know. We're going to take Keenan here. I mean, in general, I think Keenan Allen's overdrafted in these drafts. Like if you're going to be looking at him going in the late third round ahead of Jerry Jeudy, ahead of Christian Watson, ahead of Travis Etienne, ahead of Najee Harris, ahead of DeAndre Hopkins in pretty much every single one of these drafts, I would rather get the discount on Mike Williams. But at the same time, very rarely are we going to get the opportunity to take Keenan Allen at a price point like this. So might as well take Keenan Allen at 42. And now if we don't like anything in round 5, we can go ahead and take Justin Herbert if we need to. Okay. Jeep Guy says, grab Josh Allen to back up Lance in my redraft. Good call on that one. I mean, just in case Lance were to go down for like a week or two, probably do want a backup quarterback there. But my man, let me know how your draft went. Hopefully it did well. Now, Logo says Walker minus half a rushing touchdown versus Mixon feels like a safe bet. So just in general, like the lines that I was looking to take, I'm just trying to bet like on uncertain situations where things may go a little bit wrong here. Like, and this is why I was like, Breece Hall minus half a rushing touchdown versus Isaiah Pacheco. I like the Breece Hall side here because what happens if the Kansas City Chiefs decide to bring in another running back? Let me see if they have any Miami Dolphins. Actually, no, I'm not going to waste your time looking at those pick'ems too much. I'm very interested in them in general, but we have business here. Hollywood Brown off the board. We're going to go ahead. We're just going to take a wide receiver because if we don't, we'll be in a world of pain. So let's go ahead and let's grab Chris Godwin here at pick 55. So far, running back, we have CMC Nick Chubb. Wide receiver, we have Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin. Gucci Broomstick says, 10-team start 8, 1 quarterback, Diggs, Lamb, Saquon, Akers, Lawrence, Tyreek, Brown, Higbee. Do I move my first to get a better tight end or roll with my current team? So this is a dynasty format, just in case anybody is unfamiliar. So in general, I mean, this is definitely a contending team this next season. You could see that even in a 10-team league, Stephon Diggs still wide receiver 1, Lamb still be a wide receiver 1. I mean, you could say Saquon running back 1 easily. I mean, we have Tyreek Hill, another wide receiver 1. Yeah, this is definitely a strong contender, but at the end of the day, I would rather kind of sit here because you never know. Tyler Higbee could actually be a decent option this next season. And if he's not, I would rather wait until we actually get in the middle of the year. That way we know exactly who we're buying with our 2024 first. Just given how hard tight ends are to predict, the worst thing can be is you go trade a 2024 first for someone that you think is going to make a difference. And in the reality, they don't actually move the needle. But Jeep Guy says, missed a few of my targets, but send it over to you in the Discord, my man. We'll look at that in 1 second, my man. Let me make this big. And Big Rat says, taking Hurts and Mahomes at the 2-3 turn dumb. I think it is. But of course, I'm dumb as well, so I could always be wrong. Okay, let's move this over. So Dobbins falling a considerable amount here. Deontay Johnson goes. So I will take J.K. Dobbins. I mean, Dobbins very rarely making it to the middle of round 6. I mean, at this point, we are getting a 9-pick value on Dobbins. I mean, Mike Evans would have been probably a better pick from an overall roster construction perspective. I don't know. It's just difficult to pass up on that kind of value. And let's see Jeep Guy's team. Okay, you got... I'm going to break your team down. I was literally going to DM you this earlier today, my man. I literally thought about this today when I was running. I need to break your team down in like a full-blown video on the redraft channel. So I'm going to make a full-blown video with your team. Would you mind if you could sharing me the draft board as well? If you don't want to do that, completely fine, my friend. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do like an in-depth team breakdown for you. And yeah, let me know if there's like any other info you can get me for that. Okay. Now we have Jordan Addison, Kyle Pitts off the board here, 73, 74. I mean, Lawrence wasn't necessarily someone that made a lot of sense for us to take. We could have taken Lawrence and then hope that Evan Ingram made it back around to us in round 9. Okay. Henry says, this is the worst team drafted. Henry, not a fan of our CMC, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins running back, wide receiver, Deebo, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin combo. Okay, let's swing this around. Tony goes off the board, 70. God dang it. Okay, our guy's off in Dallas Goedert here. Let's take Quentin Johnston. I mean, we have Keenan Allen. Maybe this is a team where we make a bet that, I mean, the Los Angeles Chargers are just a little bit better than people expect, or maybe Mike Williams goes down due to injury. Maybe Austin Eckler goes down. I don't know. A couple different things. Just don't want to be taking another wide receiver after this round. I'm confident that we'll get a running back that we like at pick 90. And we have Keenan, so it does correlate here a bit. So, yeah, let's go ahead and let's take Quentin Johnston at 79. Definitely would have taken Dallas Goedert if Dallas Goedert would have made it to us. I mean, I probably would have preferred Dallas Goedert if I'm going to be honest to you. Okay. Now let's move this down. Isaiah says, Godwin is slot wide receiver, which favors Baker's skill set as opposed to Evans. I'm going to keep it very simple between Chris Godwin and Mike Evans in my mind. They've been extremely comparable over the past few seasons in terms of their production. Mike Evans was drafted in 2014 and Chris Godwin was drafted in 2017. I think you have to be concerned about the age with Evans where you don't have that same age concern with Godwin. So that's why I'm going to take Godwin over Evans. But maybe we could have used the Godwin pick as like a reasoning and why to go ahead and take Mike Evans there. Okay. Let's move this over. So Swift makes it all the way down to 84. Yeah, very rarely are seeing Swift make it there. Elijah Moore off the board. Post says, Etienne's my most drafted player right now at 23%. Yeah, I actually thought I had more Travis Etienne than I do. I mean, I think I'm currently sitting with about like 14% Travis Etienne, but I'm not going to be afraid of letting that get to like 18, 19%. If he continues to go in the middle of round 4, I'll continue to take Travis Etienne. Montgomery goes. Montgomery definitely the guy that we wanted. Now, I guess we can take Bateman. I haven't drafted much Bateman at all. We have Dobbins, so we can go through and make, y'all know I just like making consolidated bets on individual offenses. So here with this team, we've made the bet on the 49ers offense with CMC, Deebo Samuel. We've made the bet on the Chargers offense with Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston. We've made the bet on the Baltimore Ravens offense now with J.K. Dobbins as well as Rashad Bateman. I know most people focus in on stacking quarterbacks, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends, quarterbacks, running backs. And yes, quarterback stacks are extremely important to have. But at the same time, I mean, you actually have a bunch of correlation if you are going ahead and grabbing like 2 wide receivers from the same offense as well. Jay Swaggy says, your thoughts on Team 12? Let's go ahead and let's check out Team 12. 12 as Adams, St. Brown, Christian Watson at wide receiver. Tight end, Mark Andrews. Pretty good value on Andrews there. Justin Herbert at quarterback. I really don't understand the Herbert pick 60 selection. I mean, maybe if Quentin Johnston makes it back round 2 at 84, it makes sense. Alexander Madison, 61. DeAndre Swift, 84. Dalvin Cook, 85. Really like it. I think it would have been a much better team, however, if you would have had Quentin Johnston making it back to you at the 7-8 turn. Because it just makes the Herbert selection a little awkward in my mind, but of course I could be wrong. Okay. Now let's move this over. And of course, if you have not hit that like button yet, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. If we hit 350 likes on the stream, we'll fire up another draft after this one. And if you want to get in our next draft, we are doing drafts literally every single day until the season starts. Go sign up. Use promo code FLOCK on Underdog Fantasy. They'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. Get my 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. Okay, let's swing this over. Juju Smith-Schuster off the board. If we're looking at Anthony Richardson, it's a fine pick. I don't know. I probably don't want to take Richardson here. Let's mix it up. Let's grab Zach Charbonnet. I don't know what the right call is. I mean, as Richardson's fallen down these draft boards, I have been picking up some Anthony Richardson. I feel like we're closing in on like 10% Anthony Richardson, though, just because, I mean, he's been falling later and later and later. I feel like we'll be able to find some quarterback values that we like a little later on. And there'll be a lot of other teams that maybe we have like Pittman with that we can make the argument for Richardson. Jimmy says, Gibson's growing on Rivera Mason. Yeah, I mean, I've been talking about Antonio Gibson since the beginning of the offseason, essentially with the departure of J.D. McKissick. Clearly, Brian Robinson's not going to be the pass catcher there. So McKissick's departure is setting up Antonio Gibson for a very good spot to be in this next year. But at the same time, I mean, I was very excited to draft him when he was going 30, 40 picks later than this. I picked up a lot of them then, so I don't really feel too compelled to draft him now. Okay. Let's move this over. We really got to be thinking about what we're going to do at QB. Odell 109. Cousins not really in play for us, right? Daniel. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the easy pick of David Njoku. We just get bailed out here being able to bet on Njoku. I mean, this is another consolidated bet on an individual offense. This time betting on the Cleveland Browns offense when we have Chubb as well as David Njoku here. But yeah, I mean, I really like our team now that we're able to get David Njoku at pick 114. But here, running back, we have CMC, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, Zach Charbonnet. Wide receiver, we have Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Quentin Johnson, Rashad Bateman. Tight end, we have David Njoku. Big time offenses that we're betting on. First, we're going to be betting on the San Francisco 49ers with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, most likely Trey Lance at the end. We are going to be betting on the Baltimore Ravens with a combination of J.K. Dobbins as well as Rashad Bateman. We're going to be betting on the Los Angeles Chargers with the combination of Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston. And we're going to be betting on the Cleveland Browns with the combination of Nick Chubb as well as David Njoku. Yeah, I actually really like this team. For a team that we mix it up and we go running back out the gate, which is something we're not doing at all this year. Actually kind of like it. But Joshua coming out says, will Rachaad White have a breakout year? I mean, it just depends on what you mean as a breakout year, right? Will Rachaad White be a top 24 running back from a points per game perspective? Yeah, and maybe he can be. I mean, if you are looking at Rachaad White as a running back that at the end of the day is a pretty strong pass catcher on a team that's going to be throwing the ball a lot. But does Rachaad White have top 12 upside in an offense that's not really going to have a lot of touchdowns to go around? I mean, that's a lot harder to say. Okay, Jaylen Warren goes. Goff goes, we'll just take Jacoby Myers. Not too much to say. We need a wide receiver. He's the guy that's highest in ADP. We'll draft him. Who the hell knows? Cody says, need 4 at pick 6. Next 4. Williams, Herbert, Evans, Johnson. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's look at the team previously. I think you went CMC, Olave, Jacobs out the gate, right? I'm pretty sure that was it. So CMC, Olave, Jacobs. Mike Williams round 4, Justin Herbert. I really like the team outside. Yeah, that's a strong build, my man. I really like that. Okay, so let's move this down. Year 2 tight end Tennessee off the board 128. Gabriel says, with Trey Lance, it's a winning team. You better believe it. Oh, you better believe it. Okay, Romeo Dobbs goes. Russ 131. So quarterbacks in ADP coming up soon. Literally nobody. I mean, Derek Carr picked 147. Derek Carr makes no sense for us to draft. We don't have a single New Orleans Saints. So yeah, we're not going to be in the quarterback market for quite some time. Okay, Collins goes 134. Mikhail says, in your opinion, in an underdog draft, what positions after drafting Travis Kelce would be the most optimal? So essentially, if you deviate from going wide receiver round 1, which is why in general I'm going wide receiver 1 in the majority of these drafts based off how ADP is, you kind of have to slam your wide receivers directly after. Okay, we're going to take Dalton Kincaid and we'll only draft 2 tight ends in this draft. So it depends. I mean, if you go ahead and if you take a wide receiver round 1, which is what I'm trying to do in the vast majority of these, I'm going to be completely fine taking that middle round 2 running back value in either Jonathan Taylor, Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley. In this case, Bijan Robinson falling to round 2 as well. Be fine taking any of those running backs in round 2, and I'd be excited to do so. But that's assuming you have your anchor wide receiver. If you don't have your anchor wide receiver, I mean, you probably got to go ahead and take a wide receiver if you took Kelce round 1. At least that's my mind. Now, CPW coming out again says, light on wide receiver. JT was probably a whip, but recovered from my quarterback stacks. What do you think? Okay, so CP coming out. Okay. Quarterback. I'm sorry, let's not look at quarterback. Round 1, Jefferson obviously makes a ton of sense. 2-3 turn, Derrick Henry, Breece Hall will definitely be very unique, and it does have upside. I think in general, if you were trying to draft like for the optimal and it just ignored trying to have some kind of a unique combination in the overall tournament, maybe you want to go quarterback here. But I mean, if your argument is let's have a unique build out the gate, I think it makes sense. Hawkinson, pick 48. I mean, in general, I've been taking Hawkinson some here. What I probably, heck no, Fields is already gone. Never mind, you couldn't go Fields. I was going to say what I probably would have done was Fields and DJ Moore, but I mean, that's not even an option. So what the hell am I talking about? Yeah, so I think that's fine. Lawrence goes 72. Addison. Okay, so one thing that I don't like in these best ball drafts is if you're going ahead and taking Jefferson, Hawkinson, Addison, then Kirk Cousins. I love correlating our lineup, but if we're looking at such a large field where you just have to have the highest freaking ceiling possible in week 17, to go through and create a triple stack with 3 of those pieces coming in the first 7 rounds, that's something that I think kind of limits the overall upside of the build. That's the only thing that I'd say that's negative, but okay. Let's move this over. And yeah, I guess Jonathan Mingo, y'all know, not someone that I like much at all at price, but when we need a wide receiver, when he falls to us to pick 151, so this time 15 picks past ADP, sure, we'll take him. I mean, I'm going to draft 700 teams here. Hopefully, I don't end up with too much Jonathan Mingo, but if he falls this far, I feel like we kind of have to take him if he fits our build. And plus, we need another quarterback. We can take Bryce Young later on. Okay. Now let's move this over. Running backs, CMC, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, Zach Charbonnet. Wide receiver, Debo, Keenan Allen, Godwin, Quentin Johnston, Bateman, Jacoby Myers, Jonathan Mingo. Tight end, David Njoku, Dalton Kincaid. So this is definitely going to be a 3 quarterback build. And then we're going to have 2 more roster spots left over. I think we're going to be taking 3 quarterbacks, 1 running back, and 1 wide receiver to end off this draft. I don't know what order we're going to take the guys. It's just going to depend on the way the board falls to us. Okay. So if we're looking at Stafford possibly being an option, I mean, never say never, but wouldn't it make too much sense in my mind? This team goes Singletary 159. That team goes Roshan Johnson. So it looks like we're most likely not taking RB here. This team took Derek Carr, so I'm assuming they maybe take Shaheed if they're going to go wide receiver. Yeah, they go Shaheed. So I think Jaden Reed's actually a more appealing option than Tyquan Thornton. But the primary issue is, if you're looking at our team at this point, I mean, hell, we already have 4 rookies. Maybe going to take Bryce Young in a bit. I don't want to build the team with 6, 7, 8 rookies. What's the probability of all of them working out? Plus, Jordan Love's already off the board, and we really have to be considering our potential quarterback stacks later on here. So we can take Tyquan Thornton and still set ourselves up with the ability to go Mac Jones at the end. But I will say in the vast majority of these leagues, you will see me take Jaden Reed over Tyquan Thornton. It's just very specifically with the situation that we are in now. I think maybe it makes sense to go Tyquan instead. Okay, let's move this over. And just a heads up for everybody, I'm actually going to the lake with some friends this weekend. Now, I know I said I would be live streaming every single day until the season starts. So I'm going to keep my word. I'm going to wake up at 5 in the morning tomorrow, and we are going to be firing up a live stream at 5 in the morning. Then I'm going to drive to the lake with the girlfriend, meet some friends there, stay there for the weekends, and then live stream very late on Sunday night whenever we get back. So we're still going to live stream this weekend, both Saturday and Sundays. Not going to miss a day, but we will be extremely early on Saturday, and we will be extremely late on Sunday. Okay. So honestly, good for us to see these wide receivers going now. I'm going to go. Honestly, we probably should have taken Anthony Richardson. That was our mistake here. Okay. Let's swing this around. I actually know what we're doing. Okay, we are just QB running back. Okay. Think. We are going to take Kyler. The issue with Kyler Murray is obviously this will be a quarterback that missed the beginning of the season, but with this team and with this tournament, we are trying to optimize for weeks 15, 16, 17. For that reason, I actually am fine with Kyler Murray as one of your last picks here, given the fact that he actually does give us an elite level ceiling during those weeks. Of course, now the challenge will be, how do we actually get to the fantasy football playoff tournament with Kyler Murray here? So we are really going to be relying on our other two quarterbacks whenever Kyler Murray is not going to be playing. So yeah, we'll take Kyler. Hope that we actually get some guys at the end, Trey Lance, that are going to be able to be productive throughout the entire season. Luke says you need to schedule some guest drafters so you can take a break. So I actually needed to talk about this, right? So I've been on the look for some people to join the team, some people to join the channel, and to actually take over some drafts for me. But I always get to the same part of the interview process. I've maybe gone through about 250 applicants at this point. Like, it has been a grueling process here. And where they all fail is when I ask them to submit their quarterback rankings and I put them through 500 draft simulations and they do not end up with Trey Lance in over 50% of their leagues. Some will be up there. Some will have Trey Lance as the quarterback 10, right? Thinking they're putting enough respect on his name. But in reality, they're not even close. So once someone can recognize that Lance is the QB1, not just in San Fran, but in fantasy football, then maybe we can have some guest drafters. Maybe, just maybe. Now we're going to take Matthew Stafford. Without another Los Angeles Ram on this team, Trey Lance going is, of course, a knife in the back, but I don't know. So yeah, like this team is, it's interesting. It's okay. Our quarterbacks aren't stacked, which is not great. I think it was a fun draft. It was a fun draft. Things could have fallen better for us at the end. I think maybe we could have been better off taking, okay, here's if we're going to try to fix this going forward. If we go Anthony Richardson here at 103, if we can take Josh Downs instead here in the 16th, go ahead and mix it up like that. Maybe this is a much better team. Maybe this is a much better team. Okay. Now, Justin Ross goes off the board at 192. Let's swing this back around. Oh. Here are our options. Option 1. Draft Brock Purdy while having Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, needing a double stack with our quarterback, and say that there's a tiny % chance that we are wrong and Trey Lance is not the starting quarterback in San Francisco this next season. That's option 1. Option 2 is to not embarrass myself on this live stream by drafting a backup quarterback live here on YouTube. Options. Kenny Pickett goes 197. Luke says, never admit defeat. 0% Brock Purdy this year. Ski says, don't draft Purdy. That's messed up for our guy Lance. So I'm going to let you know what someone that has a brain would do. They would take Brock Purdy. They'd pair him up with CMC, Deebo Samuel, about 20 picks past ADP at this point. And someone with the brain, that's what they would do. But I know that Trey Lance watches these live streams every single day. And I could never do that to our guy. I could never put him through that much pain of him having to watch me draft Brock Purdy. Can you imagine Trey Lance right now sitting in his condo in San Francisco, watching YouTube going, oh man, I've had a long day at practice. Oh, it's been tough. Ready to get home, ready to relax. Let's throw on my favorite guy. Let's throw on Flock Fantasy. And hopefully he can cheer me up. And then he turns it on and he joins this live stream 5 minutes ago. And I'm sitting here in round 17 and I draft Brock Purdy. Can you freaking imagine? I can't. I couldn't do that to our guy. And real quick, we just hit 300 likes on the live stream. If we hit 350, we are going to fire up another draft after this one. So if you have not done so already, go down there and drop a like on this live stream. And Aaron says, did you just take Jeff Wilson? No, trust me, I have not drafted Jeff Wilson pretty much at all. Y'all know I really have not been taking any of these Miami Dolphins running backs with the expectation that Miami most likely brings in another body. But Jeff Wilson used to go around 14, 15 here. We're getting him in the middle around 17. It is what it is. We'll balance our exposures just a bit in case we are wrong. Now, Brock Purdy continuing to fall. Brock Purdy now at this point about 30 picks past ADP. Ooh. We're on the lookout here. Zach Evans goes 206. Mike Gesicki goes 208. All right. As I've said, I'm not going to do it to our guy. I refuse to do it. I don't care what kind of propaganda Ian Rappaport. Okay, no, never mind. I thought Mac Jones went. Oh, I'm an idiot. I was going to draft Mac Jones. For whatever reason, I thought Mac Jones went and we were going to have to take Purdy. Never mind. We're going to take Mac Jones here. We have Tyquan Thornton. And we're going to say a big F you to Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, spreading anti-Trey Lance propaganda for no apparent reason. Don't know what he did to the guys. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's take Mac Jones. We were talking about drafting Tyquan Thornton over Jaden Reed earlier because we possibly needed to have a stack just like this. So we get it. And yeah, not too much to discuss here. But yeah, so running back with this team, we have CMC, Nick Chubb, J.K. Dobbins, Zach Charbonnet. Wide receiver, we have Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Quentin Johnston, Rashad Bateman, Jacoby Myers, Jonathan Mingo, Tyquan Thornton. Tight end, we have David Njoku as well as Dalton Kincaid. And if you're looking at the bets we made here, we bet on the 49ers with CMC, Deebo Samuel. We bet on the Cleveland Browns with Nick Chubb, David Njoku. We bet on the Los Angeles Chargers with Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnston. I believe that may be it. We bet on the New England Patriots with Tyquan Thornton as well as Mac Jones. Someone who took Tom Brady in this draft. Super interesting. But we are 4 likes away. You got 6 seconds to get there. So if you're not done so already, go down there, drop a like on the live stream. And I think we just hit it, unless I'm mistaken. So let's go ahead and let's fire up another draft after this, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna be Best Ball Mania, as always. $25 buy-in, $15 million prize pool. 171,000 entrants already. $3 million for first place, $1 million for second, $300,000 for third, $150,000 for fourth. Let's go ahead. Let's get in here. Hopefully I don't know. I feel like we can have a good team. We can have a bad team from almost anywhere. I don't exactly know what we should expect. We'll see. We're at the 104. Okay. Oh, actually, Cups jumped CMC and ADP. So it looks like not only is Tyreek Hill now going ahead of Christian McCaffrey on average here, which is what I think should happen, but also Cooper Kupp is as well. Super interesting. Super interesting. And of course, if you don't know what's going on, this is Underdog Fantasy, the same place that we were looking at these pick'em lines earlier. It's the same place I won $150,000 last year. It's best ball, so no time commitment at all during this season. And when you sign up with promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You will get our 2023 fantasy football rankings. You will get a free trial to flockfantasy.com as well with promo code FLOCK. And Jeep Guy says, drafted on ESPN. Do you know of any programs I could input my results into to give it an underdog or sleeper appearance? I don't know, my friend. I'd say you can do a mock draft with yourself on sleeper and like recreate the board. That'd be the only thing I could say. Okay. Now Jefferson off the board here at 1. So we're just going to take whatever wide receiver falls. Like not too much to discuss here. Tanks has started Cup, Henry, Allen earlier. Chicken Cheesesteak says Tyreek went 9 in his Best Ball Mania draft earlier today. So yeah, I guess some people worried about the Tyreek Hill allegations. Getting him at 9 is just crazy. If I got Tyreek Hill at pick 9, you would have such a unique build compared to the rest of the field with an elite level ceiling at the same time. That'd be just so freaking exciting. So exciting. Okay. Nick says that's wild. Yeah, it is very wild. Okay. Now CMC off the board at 5. AJ Brown goes at 6. I feel like last draft was a little crazier, right? Last draft, we had like Stephon Diggs going at 3 or 4. We had Garrett Wilson going at like 5 or 6. We ended up getting CMC at 7. I wonder if you begin to see people like reach on AJ Brown / Stephon Diggs at the beginning of round 1 with the expectations of getting either Jalen Hurts or Josh Allen at the beginning of round 3. Like what I've thought about just a bit here is even though Kelsey's actually fallen in ADP, we have to remember the overall context where these boards were being drafted. So Travis Kelce, right when Best Ball Mania was being opened up, was being drafted around like pick 4 or 5, right? And Mahomes was being drafted at the 1-2 turn. Since then, both Kelce and Mahomes have fallen a considerable amount, with Kelce going more so at the end of the first and Mahomes now going at the 2-3 turn. So I wonder if you can actually have a unique build now by taking Kelce at the beginning of round 1 and getting Mahomes on the way back around to you. So this would look like taking Kelce at pick 3 and then getting Mahomes at pick 22 and then being able to get an early 3rd round selection. And maybe that would actually be a better situation than like people taking Kelce at the end of the first and then reaching on Mahomes and having a late 3rd round pick. So I don't know. Just a thought, because I haven't drafted much Travis Kelce at all. I mean, now that he's been falling, I've actually taken him in some spots at about pick 10. Okay, AZ took CMC off the board at 5. Goes Barkley. I'm actually going to take T. Higgins here. Just in general, there'll be a quarterback or a running back that we like on the way back around in the 3rd, where you're just not going to get access to a wide receiver that you're excited about in the 3rd round here. Okay. James says, I got Eckler 16. We're in the same draft, Lamb and Eckler. Lamb and Eckler at the gate's pretty crazy, my man. Matt was in a draft yesterday and had Jefferson fall to him at 3. How do y'all get this crap? Liam was in the draft where he saw James get Eckler at 16. How does that happen? I feel like that never happens for me. Okay, so we have another team here at 1, just like the last draft, deciding to pass on the elite level quarterbacks and instead go running back at the 2-3 turn. Looks like everybody's in that draft there with James. Okay, Hurts goes 26. Allen off the board. So, I'm sorry, Jacobs off the board. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Josh Allen here. I think I'm actually overweight on Allen now. I think I have like 8% Josh Allen. Or like 9%, maybe even 10% Josh Allen. But this is a build that I'm a little more used to. And then this way we can actually go ahead and take advantage of the running back value that we like in the middle rounds. Now, what I did see on Underdog's Twitter, which is a little concerning, is if you're going to go ahead and look at what they actually have with these pick'em lines, they just put out the rivals lines, right? And if you look at Higgins, they have Higgins versus Tony receiving touchdowns, and they only have Tony with plus half of one. Like, this may actually be a line that I look to take. I'll keep y'all updated on if I do. They have Higgins versus Amon-Ra St. Brown receiving yards, though, and the gap only 10 yards, so I just don't. Who the hell thinks Tony's going to do this? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's move this over. So see if anything crazy happens here. You have Calvin Ridley and Keenan Allen both going ahead of DK Metcalf, which is interesting. Ghost says, you take that because Tony staying healthy would be a miracle. Even if Tony stays healthy. I don't know. Jalen says, Chiefs said they incorporate him in the offense more of a Debo role. Well, the man's played like 0 snaps over the past 2 years. Like, he's been used straight up as just as a gimmicky wide receiver. Debo's out there all the time. Okay, Najee Harris goes off the board, pick 38. Najee Harris would have definitely been a running back I would have been excited to draft if we had him at 45. Lamar Jackson's still on the board, which is definitely interesting. Sumo Bro says, are you going to release a separate video with the rival props? Would y'all want a video of me going through and looking at the rival props on Underdog? If y'all would want a video of me doing this, let me know. And then if y'all want it, I can definitely do it for y'all. I mean, it's June. I can pretty much make whatever video y'all want. If y'all ever have a video idea or something you want me to do, please, for the love of God, reach out to me and let me know. I mean, you will be making my life significantly easier. Okay, Ghost says he wants it. RM says sure. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and we'll look at those lines. Okay. Ben says do it live. Infinity Phil says rival props video is what the people want. Okay. I'll go ahead and we'll look at some of those props. And of course, if you want to check out any of those, same place where we're drafting Underdog, promo code FLOCK, 100% deposit match. Here's where Underdog's available as well. We can show that off because I know a lot of people think they don't have Underdog, and Underdog's pretty much everywhere. Chris says, yo, Mason, I am worried about Tyreek Hill. I personally am not. Like, I'm going ahead and I'm drafting Tyreek Hill. Like, and of course, I know very little of what's going on. I'm an idiot. You shouldn't trust me. But for what players get away with in the NFL, I don't know how serious and how worried we should really be about the Tyreek Hill situation. I don't know. So we're going to take Gibbs, 45. We can essentially just do whatever we want. We can go Cup, Higgins, Allen out the gate. DJ Moore goes 47. And we talked about this a bit, but I think that you do have an argument to be made if you're going to be selecting at the beginning of the first to pass on one of these elite level quarterbacks to go ahead and get the DJ Moore, Justin Fields stack on the turn. So the team at 1 decides to pass on Christian Kirk. Actually, no, Kirk's already gone. Never mind. Art Show on the clock as Mahomes, Jacobs, Tyreek, as well as Hopkins. Ayuk goes, we're going to take Kenneth Walker regardless. I'm taking Kenneth Walker over Brandon Ayuk. I mean, Kenneth Walker was not someone that we were drafting earlier on, but earlier on in the offseason, Kenneth Walker, and this is even after Zach Charbonnet was selected, Kenneth Walker was going more so at the end of the 3rd round. I mean, he opened up, he was going in the middle of the 3rd round. I mean, he's just been a consistent follower ever since. And what we said since the beginning was if he made it to the 5th round, we'd start drafting him. We'd have drafted him not at all previously, but now that we're going to get him in the 5th, hell, sign me up for it. Okay. I mean, if Yeah, y'all know Jacobs was my most drafted running back last year. We've only said that a million times, but Kenneth Walker was actually my second most drafted running back. Like, Kenneth Walker is a big reason why we won money on Underdog as well. Okay, so Herbert off the board 53, Dobbins goes 54, Mixon off 55. We have a balanced team, right? There's not too much that we want to see. I'd say in general, the only thing that we want to see is like quarterbacks go off the board. Like, it'd be nice to have Trevor Lawrence off by the time that we're back up. But honestly, that'll probably happen because if you look at what that team did at pick 2, they decided to pair up both Jalen Hurts as well as Joe Burrow. So that maybe is going to create like a little bit of a greater need for a team to grab a quarterback here. Let's see, where's the Calvin team? So the Calvin team decided to take Herbert. They don't have any Los Angeles Chargers either, which is very interesting. Where's the Christian Kirk team? Okay, so the Christian Kirk team here, Shoddy, I'm imagining they probably go Lawrence at pick 67 if they get the ability, or maybe Sparkles, who took ETN at pick 39. Okay. But Jay Swaggy says, pick 3, Hill, Chubb, Jacobs, McLaurin, Godwin. Yeah, very rarely are you seeing Chubb fall this far. I mean, this is where Chubb was going at like the beginning of the offseason, but Chubb's obviously been a big-time riser now, going ahead of Barkley in almost every draft. Yeah, I mean, so that looks very, very strong to get that kind of value on Nick Chubb there, my friend. Jack says, why are people not talking about Hunter Renfrow? A couple different reasons. One, the offense is going to be very bad. 2, I mean, hell, Hunter Renfrow is pretty bad. Hunter Renfrow was like one of our biggest fades last year, and I'm very happy about that. And oh my God, very similar to how we were fading Cortland Sutton, Mike Williams. You said that you were fading Hunter Renfrow, and people hated you for it. Like, I got so much freaking hate for the Renfrow call. But, I mean, I've been mixing him in best ball drafts now. They also bring in Jacoby Myers and give Myers a pretty decent contract. But with the departure of Darren Waller, who knows? Sumo Bro says, real followers know your third most drafted running back was Cordell Patterson. I didn't even remember that, my friend. If that's true, that's impressive. Okay, Deontay Johnson off the board, 65. Lawrence does go. It's a team that didn't have any Jacksonville Jaguars, so I'm wondering if they're going to go ahead and try to get Evan Ingram soon. Mikkel coming out of the donation, thank you so much, says, on pick 5, AZN on this draft, got tips on preventing your girl from getting on your way while drafting. On your phone while drafting? I don't know what's going on here. Okay. Here's what I do, right? My girlfriend knows if I am in a fantasy football draft, I am in the zone. Okay. You tell her she's watching excellence. She's experiencing excellence. That you're in a flow state and that you cannot be disturbed. What you are doing is more important than what anybody else is doing on this planet. At least when I'm drafting it is. I mean, I know people that think that what they do is meaningful. Psh. I mean, have you ever heard of something more meaningful than getting in a fantasy football draft and turning a camera on? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I don't have the issue because the girlfriend realizes that when I'm in here, I mean business. I mean business. We're going to take Miles Sanders here, pick 69. Similar, wasn't really drafting Miles Sanders here. I mean, I wasn't really drafting Miles Sanders when these contests first opened up, but Miles Sanders used to go at the 4-5 turn. Here, if we're getting him closer to like the 6-7 turn, be happy with it. Okay. Nathan says, why not Mike Evans? A big thing is, as well as if you look at when these contests opened up, if Miles Sanders was going at the 4-5 turn, this is going to be a very unique build compared to the rest of what those teams look like. We are going to have so much ADP value on the rest of them that probably makes a lot of sense to go ahead and take him here. Okay. Now Dotson goes, hopefully the team that took Mahomes takes Kadarius Toney, just pushing someone that we actually like over to us. Gabe Davis off the board definitely sucks. Obviously, we were looking for Gabe Davis in round 7 if we take Josh Allen. Let's see what Art Show decides to do. This is a team that has Mahomes, Jacobs, Tyreek, Hopkins, Brandon Ayuk, and Mike Evans. Hoonigan says, Mason, I keep thinking about the T. Higgins versus Tony line. There's absolutely no way Tony does that. I freaking agree with you, my man. Now, the issue is taking season-long lines is such a scary game in that if your player gets injured, and he doesn't even have to get injured and miss the entire season, right? If he gets injured and misses a month, like it can be a tough situation. So in general, like I've said, the only season-long player props I've committed to really taking are the ones where you're taking the lower than, you're kind of betting against the player. Because if you think they'll most likely not hit it, even if they stay healthy through the entire season, and you have the added on bonus that there's a chance that they go down due to injury, I don't know. Nick coming out of the donation. Thank you, my friend. Says, looking back through all my Best Ball Mania teams, very early one was Cup at 5, St. Brown at 20, Chubb at 29, with Herbert and Williams plus Johnson to stack. That is awesome. I'm pretty sure you probably got value on Johnson if it was a very early on as well, my man. That is awesome. That's awesome, my friend. Okay. Dominic says, is a bully quarterback team with Hurts and Lawrence too aggressive? Say if you're getting Lawrence like significantly past ADP, right? Say you take like Jalen Hurts pick 26 and you're going to get Lawrence at the beginning of the 7th. I think you can make that bully quarterback strategy work in comparison to like going all out and taking like, say, Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. Or it's like very similar to tight end, right? Like I think you can get away with taking like Travis Kelce and George Kittle if George Kittle makes it around 6 for you. Or Travis Kelce and Kyle Pitts if Pitts makes it around 7 for you. Whereas I don't think you're really going to be able to get away with taking like Kelce and then Mark Andrews. So I think bully quarterback, bully tight end can work. Just kind of have to be aware of where you are drafting those players. And because another thing is, right, say you take Jalen Hurts and then you grab Trevor Lawrence in round 7. But just hypothetical. What happens if Jalen Hurts goes down and misses the large chunk of the beginning of the year, and all those teams that drafted Jalen Hurts have a very low advance rate, and the majority of them miss the fantasy football playoffs? However, if you actually had a solid option to pair it up with that guy, and you're able to sneak in a team with Jalen Hurts who missed, say, the beginning of the year, but it's going to be in there at the very end and have that elite level ceiling. Or you can say that with almost any other player. Say same thing with Travis Kelce. Say the same thing with Andrews. There is merit to going ahead and pairing up your elite level guy with someone that's actually respectable at the same position. It's just obviously you don't want to be going overboard with it, right? Okay. Now, AZ on the clock has... it goes Michael Thomas, so we're going to get the gift of Isaiah Pacheco here at pick 93. I mean, going and looking at that line with Isaiah Pacheco, like I said, I'm probably going to be looking at the Breece Hall side of this, where it's Breece Hall versus Pacheco plus half a rushing touchdown. But still, nonetheless, that's the expectation for him this next season. And if we're going to be getting him here at the end of round 9, at the 8-9 turn, I'm really excited about Isaiah Pacheco at that price tag. Okay, so far we have Kupp, Higgins, George Pickens at wide receiver. Running back, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, Kenneth Walker, Miles Sanders, Isaiah Pacheco. Quarterback, we have Josh Allen. Really like this. Tommy Knows coming out with the donation. Thank you so much, my man. Happy to see you out here. Says, finally have time to catch a live draft. Got the flock shirt in the mail yesterday and wore it to my son's soccer game proudly. One of the most comfortable t-shirts ever. Thanks for all you do. No, thank you so much, my man. Super, super happy to hear that. That really makes my day. And yeah, I will say in general, not only the flock shirt that I have, but also like the other Underdog shirts that I have. That material is like the best material ever. Those are the only shirts that I wear from now on. I used to like exclusively wear Costco shirts. Now I also wear now it's pretty much the opposite. I just wear flock shirts. But super happy to see that, my man. Thank you. And we're going to take James Cook, 5th running back. Obviously, 2 running back heavy here. It is what it is. I like the value in comparison to the wide receivers. At the same time, we take Josh Allen. We want to have some correlation here with this Buffalo Bills offense. James Cook is a pass catcher, so let's go ahead and let's grab James Cook. I'm definitely not going to be able to take another running back after this, though. That's for damn sure. Okay. Now we have Kupp, Higgins, Pickens, Gibbs, Walker, Sanders, Pacheco, James Cook, and Josh Allen. Really weird team. Like every team we draft. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, we just try to draft weird teams so we can have unique teams. So if we get to the fantasy football playoffs, blah, blah. No, in reality, we draft weird teams because we're not good at drafting. Okay. Let's move this over. Dak Prescott goes 106. Gino goes, so obvious. Actually, no, never mind. For whatever reason, I thought we took Jameson Williams for a bit. Yeah, I was going to be excited if we had Jameson Williams making us to pick 100 as well, given the fact that, I mean, hell, we probably needed a little more out of wide receiver than running back. On top of this, we had Jahmyr Gibbs, so we could have set ourselves up with taking Gibbs as well as Jameson Williams, and then Jared Goff later on for the double stack. But, I mean, it is what it is. So at this point, we cannot take running back. We are just QB, wide receiver, tight end. Sean says, unironically, maybe my favorite team you've drafted. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Trying my best for y'all. Trying my best. Okay, Samaje Perine goes. And this is why I really do like taking 2 wide receivers out the gate this year. Just in general, whenever we're going to be able to get this kind of running back value, I like having the flexibility to be able to actually go in that direction. Whereas if you take your running backs early, you don't even have the option. Like, you literally just have to be the guy taking Michael Thomas over Isaiah Pacheco. You have to take, Mike Evans over Miles Sanders. You just have no other choice. You have to take Christian Kirk over Jahmyr Gibbs. And those aren't decisions I want to make. James says, Best Ball Mania winner is being drafted by me as we speak. Well, my man, when you come to the Flock meetup this year, if you win $3 million with Best Ball Mania, we're balling, all right? We're going nuts. We're going nuts. We're going to, oh, shoot, never mind. If we're looking at Cousins, to be honest, Cousins not really in play unless we really want to go all in on KJ Osborne a little later on. But, I mean, if you have no Addison, no Hawkinson, and no Jefferson, there's really no reason to take Cousins, at least in my mind. Yeah, this team has none of those players. I doubt we see a Cousins pick here. They go Rodgers, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Allen Lazard. I mean, we need a wide receiver. He falls 8 picks past ADP. Sometimes it's as simple as that. Okay, let's move this over. So Penny goes after. So this is exactly what we want to see, right? Whenever we take 5 running backs and 6 picks here with Gibbs, Walker, Sanders, Pacheco, James Cook, we're really wanting to see on that run on running back, which is exactly what happens with Brian Robinson, Khalil Herbert, Samaje Perine, Damian Harris, Alvin Kamara, all going back to back to back. But Kamara falls to pick 114 here. Alvin Kamara being drafted behind Samaje Perine. Dear God. Yeah. We need a wide receiver. We'll take the guy who's highest in ADP. We'll take Jacoby Myers, falls 4 picks past ADP. I mean, he should be involved on a week-to-week standpoint. We could go Jimmy Garoppolo if we really needed to. Teresa says, take Kincaid, stack with Allen. I mean, that's actually something that we would do a lot, Teresa, in this range, like about a week or two ago. But in general, if you're looking at the trend of these drafts, you actually have a lot of these drafts with Dalton Kincaid making it back to you at the end of the 12th round. So definitely Dalton Kincaid will be a target for us with this Josh Allen build, but it's more so you're seeing Kincaid go in the late 12th more and more often. So I'd rather go ahead and grab him there. Okay. Liam says, Mason, what are your thoughts on taking 2 anchor wide receivers and slamming running backs with an elite level quarterback and tight end rounds 3 through 8? Been doing this a lot lately. My man, don't know if you had a chance to see this team. We're the team at 4. 2 anchor wide receivers, elite quarterback, slam running back value. Okay, now we have a massive run on wide receiver. You have about, 8 wide receivers going in a row here with Darnell Mooney through Nico Collins. Not great for us. We still need a wide receiver. I mean, we only have Kupp, Higgins, Pickens, Lazard, Jacoby Myers. Speedy says, I'll never understand how Rodgers complained about his lack of receiver help for years. Then when he leaves Green Bay, he recruits his old wide receivers. It is pretty funny, right? It's like, these guys stink. Get me out of here. Hey, y'all want to follow? Y'all want to come with? Ignore what I said about y'all stinking. I'd love to throw the ball to you this next season. Hiendo says, have you ever seen a whole round draft one position? I am sure that I have, my friend. I mean, I have the red badge on Underdog, so we've been in over 1,000 drafts on Underdog. I would be surprised if we have not been in a draft where you see 12 wide receivers go in a row. Okay, so we are QB, wide receiver, tight end, just pretty much anything but running back, right? We are out of LaCroix, ladies and gentlemen, so this is not a good spot. I'm thirsty as hell. Jonathan Mingo goes. Good for us. We don't have to have another Jonathan Mingo draft. We've had too many of those. Okay, Alec Pierce, Devon Achane. Good for us to see Devon Achane go. We may see some running backs. Yeah, this team only has 2 backs. This team only has 3. See what happens. This team has Kyle Pitts and David Njoku, so they're not taking Kincaid. This is the team that we have to worry about taking Kincaid. They have no other bills. Shotty goes Roshan Johnson. Infinity Phil says, thought you gave up LaCroix for the native Texas seltzer. Yeah, sparkling water, not seltzer, my friend. But, okay, we're going to get Kincaid just like what we were talking about with double stack with James Cook. We're getting Kincaid here, about 14 picks past ADP. But in general, this is just about where you should expect Dalton Kincaid to go from now on. So, yeah, I went to HEB. I was going to grab the, I forgot what it was called, the Waterloo sparkling water since it was made in Austin. And it was $2 more than LaCroix, or maybe only $1 more. Nonetheless, it was a little more expensive, and I'm about the cheapest person you could ever meet, so we switched it over. Okay. Tiger says, do we get a third draft if we achieve the like goal? Yes, if we had 600 likes in this live stream, we were going to fire up another draft after this one, ladies and gentlemen. So if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like in this live stream, help us get to 600. And of course, if you want to get in our next draft, we are streaming literally every single day, not going to miss a single day. I mean, probably for the next 200, we're going to be in these Underdog drafts. And if you want to hop into an Underdog draft with us, you can always go sign up and use promo code FLOCK, and they'll match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get my 2023 fantasy football rankings and a free trial to flockfantasy.com. It says best ball, no time commitment during the year, won $150,000 here last year, and also the same place where we were looking at all those player props earlier on. So we're going to take Dalton Schultz, pair Dalton Schultz up with Dalton Kincaid. In general, I like it. I think Schultz will probably outscore the wide receivers here. Like if we're going to look at the projections that you have with the player props, let me see. Dalton, do they have them? They have Dalton Schultz at 500 yards. Who else was here? Marquez Valdez-Scantling was the next wide receiver, I want to believe. I guess MVS is at 625. Never mind. Never mind. The player props are not going to back us up on that one. They're going to tell us, no, Mason, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, I have no idea what just happened there. Let's get back. Okay. Brandon says best ball with trades would be nuts. Yeah, so a lot of my dynasty leagues are actually best ball leagues with trades. Now, the issue with like trades in terms of like a super large field tournament like this, like if it's, if there's $3 million up for first place, there could just be too many shenanigans. Like, I mean, Underdog already has things in place. If someone were to go through and try to mess up the draft and like create an unfair advantage, Underdog has things in place to make sure that that does not happen. But I mean, it would be so difficult to do that same thing with trades, right? Like you'd almost have to evaluate every single trade and say, is this fair? Because if someone were to go through and make a really bad trade and create a super team and it leads to someone else making $3 million, like just can't really have that in like a super large field tournament, right? Okay, let's smooth this down. Marvin Mims goes 157. So it's interesting. Do we only take 2 tight ends when we go Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Schultz? Infinity Pill says, what does Underdog have in place? Because someone took 12 quarterbacks in one of my drafts earlier. Can you report them? Yeah, so Underdog generally, if they see something like that, will go ahead and refund the draft. Refund everybody in the draft. Most likely ban the person if they think it's a malicious intent. Sometimes the person just doesn't know what they're doing. But yeah, if you see something like that, I'm sure Underdog's going to do it automatically. But if you want to make sure it's 100% done, I would just shoot Underdog like a DM on Twitter. I'd shoot them an email. Just any way to reach out to them. They respond to you literally like that. Okay. Now, Jaden Reed off the board here at 160. So like I said, we are not taking running back here. We are quarterback, wide receiver, tight ends. Okay, Deonta Foreman, Jerome Ford. Tyquan Thornton goes. Let's see what AZ does. Cooper says, my draft for the other day where someone drafted 12 quarterbacks got refunded today. Yeah, so that's what I was saying. They have things in place to make sure that's not. Obviously, they're not going to boot the guy to the draft immediately while he's doing it. But it will flag something, and they just have to keep the game integrity for the overall tournaments. Okay, I guess we'll take KJ Osborne. I'm not the biggest KJ Osborne guy, but pretty much in these massive tournaments, if anybody falls, 17 picks past ADP, we're probably going to go ahead and grab them if we need that position. Now, Stafford obviously would have been nice to pair up with Cooper Kupp. It's not the end of the world that Stafford goes, but it would have been nice to have. I'm not going to lie to you. We can still go Kenny Pickett to pair up with George Pickens. Still go Jimmy Garoppolo to pair up with Jacoby Myers. Still go CJ Stroud to pair up with Dalton Schultz. So we have a bunch of different options here. Okay. Spears goes 168. Yeah, in general, I don't think we want to take another tight end. It can be something we do, but y'all know I'm not a big Sam Laporta guy, that's for sure. Zeke goes 170. Just great for us. Get these running backs off, right? We're just not interested in these. Matthew says, Mason, what strategy do you use when you're doing a Dalmatian draft? So essentially, if you're going to be in one of the high stakes drafts on Underdog, that's a smaller tournament than one of these massive puppy drafts or Best Ball Mania. Crap, our guy Curtis Samuel goes. Do we just reach on who we want? No, let's take John Mechie. That way we could go ahead and possibly set ourselves up with a CJ Stroud double stack. But in general, if you're going to be in a smaller high stakes tournament on Underdog, I think we're actually really good at those high stakes tournaments. I'm the only person to ever win multiple in the same season. You want to be trying to think a little bit more in terms of just overall projections for the players through the course of the season, rather than trying to figure out the top percentile outcome for a week-to-week standpoint. So if you're in Best Ball Mania, if you are in the puppy, you really need to be thinking how many points can this one guy put up in a particular week? Because in weeks 15, 16, 17, I'm going to need a freaking million points to be able to go through and advance and actually take this thing down. But if you're going to be in the Dalmatian, it's not the same thing. You don't need a million points. The bar is going to be lowered just a bit, not a ton, but just a bit. So I would be willing to take one fewer wide receiver and then grab an extra tight end or grab an extra quarterback, right? So maybe here, a good example of this is when we're sitting here in Best Ball Mania and I've taken Dalton Kincaid, Dalton Schultz, I'm probably not going to take another tight end. But if I was in a smaller high stakes tournament, I would probably go ahead and grab a third tight end, if that makes sense. But here, since I'm trying to have the highest weekly ceiling, I'll probably grab an extra wide receiver. Okay. Now, Kenny Pickett goes 180. Kenny Pickett definitely would have been someone that we would have taken at 189 if you had made it to us. Let's swing this back around. And we still reserve the right to go tight end if one falls to us at a crazy value, right? We still do reserve that right. Okay, Hayden Hurst goes 182. I've drafted the hell out of Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst better have a good year. Bryce Young off 183. Young's not someone that I'm looking to get here. Hyatt goes. Nick says he has a ton of Hayden Hurst as well. Okay, that makes me feel good. Makes me feel good. Would it be weird to take Knox and Kincaid on the same team? Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that, right? Harbin goes 186. Joshua Palmer goes 187. Honestly, let's mix it up here. AZ on the clock. Only 4 RBs. I wonder if we see an RB pick. What running backs would be available? I got some names. Yeah, there you go, Jeff Wilson. I'm not worried about any of these teams behind us taking a quarterback. We'll take Claypool. Not a big Claypool guy, but I think maybe the spike week potential is a little bit higher than what you have with Josh Downs. I don't know. I don't know what the right thing to do there is. We'll take Claypool. Definitely get another quarterback here. Was there any Sam Laporta news? Let me pull this up. Sam Laporta is someone that I just think in general has been way overdrafted here in these underdog drafts, and I have very little of him. But if he falls 30 picks past ADP and maybe fits our roster, actually, I probably don't even want to take Sam Laporta considering the fact that we took Dalton Kincaid. And are we confident in 2 rookie tight ends, let alone 1, are actually decent this next season? Laporta goes, so we didn't have to think about it. We're going to take Stroud. We have both Dalton Schultz as well as John Mechie, so we will set ourselves up with a little bit of a double stack there. Obviously, when we have Josh Allen, we're expecting Josh Allen to primarily carry the role, right? But I don't know. Dominic says, how could someone take Laporta over Taysom? I don't understand how people are taking Laporta in the first place. Like, at least at ADP. I think Laporta should be very similar to like the tight end in Vegas, right? Like, I think Michael Myers and Sam Laporta should be kind of in the same range. Okay, let's move this down. And I think our last pick, I don't know. We have some flexibility. So our wide receiver room is Kupp, Higgins, Pickens, Lazard, Myers, Osborne, Mechie, Claypool. Would a Robert Woods pick make sense? I really don't know. Lance goes 203. Same team that took Lance in the last draft. Love to see it. Nick says, rookie tight ends have historically almost never produced, staying away from them unless it's very late. Yeah. I think it's probably the right sentiment. Here, I mean, I will take Dalton Kincaid when he falls 14 picks past ADP. We have Josh Allen especially. I still, I'm not taking a running back. We're quarterback, wide receiver, tight end. My issue is once we get to the wide receivers in this range, like, does Gesicki outscore Robert Woods? Like, that's the real question, right? Zach Ertz goes 207. Joe says, did I miss you ever saying what platform you use Twitter to announce that you're getting ready to go live on YouTube? So I've been scheduling the live streams multiple hours out in advance to let everybody know when we are going live. General, I'm trying to go live at about 6 p.m. Central every day. Tomorrow, I'm going to go live like 6 a.m. in the morning. Like, I have a busy weekend. And then Sunday night, I'll be live super late. But during the week, I'm going to be trying to go live at around like 6 p.m. Central every day. And I'll just say, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have like the bell hit next to the subscribe button. Okay. We'll take Gesicki. Who knows? Gesicki here falls, what? I'm no mathematician, but 25 picks past ADP. It's probably comparable to the wide receivers in this range. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's make that selection. Here's the team. Interesting team. I don't necessarily think it's great. I don't necessarily think it's horrible, but I mean, it is what it is. It will get the job done. But again, thank you so much for hanging out with us, ladies and gentlemen. Really appreciate y'all. And most importantly, really hope that you have a great weekend. Really hope that I get to see you with the live stream tomorrow morning, considering it'll be Saturday at like 6 in the morning Central. I doubt I'll see you, but nonetheless, hopefully I'll get to watch the video later on. And if you can make it to the late night Sunday live stream, I'll be there then. But again, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate y'all. And really hope I get to see y'all in a live stream soon.